Yeah, everybody good? Everybody can hear us as well? Awesome. Yeah, great. Thanks for coming so late this afternoon already. Still joining us. My name is Felix Heins. I'm with the Things Industries, and I'm very, very excited to welcome our partners from FlowFuse today, who've joined me. Nick O'Leary and Zeger-Jan van de Weg is here today to share a bit about Node-RED. I don't know how about you, but for me it has always for sure been, there have been times where Node-RED has saved the day, where you could tinker. I remember during COVID trying to not go to the office every day to check on the mailbox, so Node-RED helped me solve. Was a time where we didn't know if it will kill us or not, so yeah, I felt quite great about my first Node-RED flow. Yeah, so I'm excited to have you here, Nick. Yeah, tell us a bit. You created Node-RED actually, right?
Yeah, so it was at IBM about 13, 14 years ago now, working in the Emerging Technologies group, where we got to do lots of really interesting client projects. I got involved in the IoT space with my background with MQTT. And the great thing with that team was we were just given time to do customer projects, but also just play with ideas and invent stuff. And this idea of a tool that would just help us quickly wire together sensors and whatever it is we happen to be dealing with, that idea came together. So in a couple of days, knocked together a proof of concept of the idea, showed it to a colleague, and it just launched from there. And within a month, we were using Node-RED version 0.1 in real customer projects. And it just proved to be a really useful tool. And we've not really looked back since.
Yeah, how did that look back then when you were on customer projects? Would you run it then as IBM for them? Would you host it?
So in those cases, the projects we were doing were typically like 1 or 2 week long proof of concepts. And like I said, a lot of IoT type stuff. So one of the first projects was in a food factory, strapping Raspberry Pis onto an ice cream manufacturing line with loads of sensors, and just put Node-RED on all the Raspberry Pis to gather the data and push it up to the IBM data platform to do the hard work. But Node-RED was there doing its thing.
So it's like a data acquisition platform.
Yeah.
Do you have any notion of how big that gotten through your time starting it, and then within the first years before you left, basically?
Well, I mean, in the early days, so once we'd open sourced it with IBM's permission, obviously, it then just found a home in the IoT community, and we just started seeing it crop up more and more. I mean, I remember I went to a conference where someone was presenting about Node-RED. Now, we'd only open sourced it like 6 months ago. I didn't know this person, and here was a talk about Node-RED, the project. And so I think it just found a home, and then the community's just exploded from there.
Yeah, it's amazing. Great how good ideas actually, people are waiting for it to take it and run with it. That's a pretty nice moment. To be honest, then you run your first Node-RED and you get that feeling of, I want to sell that, right? Like, hey, that was easy to build that application with it, to solve a problem. It was intuitive. I feel I can fix it. I have the little tools to do debugging and monitoring of that solution. But then, of course, it's open source. Colleagues from IT security might be like, we don't know about it, right? Like, so there were there back then that was covered then by IBM, and they would host it. They would operate it basically as a custom project.
It very much depend on the customer. So there were some customers in those early days who were adopting it as open source. I mean, separate from IBM. But of course, they would come and knock on the door of IBM for support. And that's a lot of what led to it becoming part of the OpenJS Foundation.
Right.
Was IBM customers wanting concerns over open source and all those usual regards, but also then getting it part of a foundation, so there's a bigger sort of governance model around the project. But it was interesting, and we were very deliberate, because it wasn't an IBM product. there were certain areas in the open source of Node-RED we chose not to address. So we focused on Node-RED being a single Node-RED runtime, and let's focus on what it can do, and not worry so much about how you then do that at scale.
Yeah.
And there are reasons for, IBM had plenty of commercial products doing integration, so we wanted to make sure we didn't confuse matters and the bigger picture. Now that was 10 years ago, and here we are now looking at how can we solve those problems, and that's very much why I left IBM and started FlowFuse to address those challenges.
Yeah, great. So Zeger, what was that the vision from day one, or tell us a bit about what has FlowFuse done then with that product, and how did it start? And
yeah, so when I met Nick, there was already this very mature community building Node-RED applications. But what we did identify is the concerns that Nick just discussed. And so what ultimately is a signal there's a shift in persona, right? Like the one who adopts generally wants to just get the job done. And then the persona shifts of like, okay, how do we do compliance? What's the legal framework here?
Yes.
And as soon as that happens, there's a commercial model to be had because someone needs to be on the leash or responsible, or you need to call someone whatever the time of the day is. And that's where we started, basically also reviewing back on my career, where we started with GitLab, an open source project, and then as soon as the buyer shifts, there is a commercial model there as well. So that's where we started out. And so all the scaling concerns, those are the licensed management platform around Node-RED. So if you scale it either in number of Node-REDs or you scale it in number of people that are going to use Node-RED, that's where we step in commercially and copy the open core model that I've been growing up with, so to speak.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it was almost in your muscle memory to deliver an open technology stack to enterprises and
both that as well as like it's open source. We couldn't take an open source project both on the legal but also like ethically and morally. You can't just say, okay, now we stop maintaining this and here's the paid version, $10 a month, and like your problem from now on. That's also another way to set up the relationships with your future customers. Yeah. So we definitely did not do that, and then we looked around the peripheral around the community, like what are the problems that they're solving now, and even to this day, like most of our competition is build versus buy discussions. Correct. Like yes, we can buy your product, and then it works tomorrow, but also like what are the options we have, and then it's usually build.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we see plenty of hardware here, a lot of vendors who are bringing hardware only, and they specialize in that. So let's put ourselves in their shoes. How would a typical project look like? I have an actuator, I have a sensor, and my customer comes with a very specific use case or problem to you or to FlowFuse. Walk me through the process from time to value, process to value, basically with your solution then.
So a lot depends with our customers where they are already, where they are on that Node-RED adoption journey. Some come saying we love, our engineers love Node-RED. They've been using it for years, home automation. Now they want to bring it into the day job. We need to figure that out. Yeah. Or it's they're coming. They know we can do this. Unlocking data, integrate anything, helping them then understand how Node-RED can be brought to bear to do that. If you've not played with Node-RED or familiar, there's a community of like over 5,500 integrations built by the community for Node-RED. So it can talk all sorts of different protocols, integrate with all sorts of different databases, online APIs, whatever it might be. So it's super flexible. So often it starts with, right, what's the hardware you want to get the data from? What protocols are there? Then it's just picking the right integration from the list in Node-RED, and often customers, as soon as they can just start seeing their data scrolling through the debug sidebar in Node-RED, within 5 minutes of them setting up Node-RED, that then just starts unlocking the art of the possible of now you've got the data into Node-RED, what next? And it's really an open field for what you can build with Node-RED from that point forward.
Yeah. Just from an approach perspective, like let's say I find the forgotten Raspberry Pi, which I've had a year ago, and I have still a flow on there. can I just copy that in, or would that be more complicated?
Well, certainly on the FlowFuse side, it is pretty much just standard Node-RED that we're managing.
Yeah, so it's import the flow and go.
Absolutely. So on our platform, you can run Node-RED inside the platform, or you can remotely manage Node-RED on the devices using a little device agent we provide. So it's really about managing Node-RED wherever you need it, because in a typical solution, a customer may well have hundreds of Node-REDs running on PLCs alongside older equipment that might not be connectable by itself. And then they'll run some Node-RED as sort of gateway level or in the cloud level doing more aggregation. Node-RED is so versatile where you run it. We see a lot of it, that sort of tiered hierarchy of application building.
Yeah. Does this resonate with OT versus IT, or?
Yeah, no, very much so. I think the IT side like what we do because it gives them the security controls around the platform. OT can just get on with building what they need to build, and it bridges the gap very nicely.
Great. What is in the future for FlowFuse? How are you going to? What are you going to offer? Is there something you see coming up? Do you see a pattern? Where you're going to take it?
So we have extended our offering very much along the lines of how do you scale in number of Node-REDs as well as number of people. Where we're investing heavily now is obviously AI, on like how do you use it on runtime, but also how do you on developed time get a solution together quicker? Because low code shifted what is possible for a lot of people, so non-engineers can now build software. But now it shifts even further to whoever has an idea can now integrate the physical world with the digital one and back again and build dashboards and interact with whatever the physical realities are. So that is one area. The second one I'm really excited about is what we call Certified Nodes 2.0. So there's about 5,500 publicly available integrations, and then there's a bunch of proprietary ones which aren't accessible by everyone. So we're trying to make those accessible to our customers, and then also make sure that those will sustain the next decade. So that's the goal there, make sure that they have guarantees that for the next decade there is a security model here. We'll step in if there needs to be maintenance done. Because a lot of the use cases that we serve, it is, yes, a lot of investment to get it up and running and to get all the assets of either machines or IoT use cases going, but then afterwards, it just needs to run for the next decade. And that's where we want to step in as a company and provide that guarantee to our customer base.
Love that. 10 years future-proofing of integrations. So other than coming to your booth and engaging you to onboard your software solution or our software solution into your managed, into your integrations portfolio, how can people get started? Where can they, what's the...
If you haven't already played with Node-RED, that's a great place to start. You can sign up on FlowFuse Cloud, get a free trial, and get playing with Node-RED in a couple of minutes. In the much shorter term, we have got a workshop tomorrow afternoon. We'll sort of take you through how FlowFuse extends Node-RED and how you can sort of scale from one to many with Node-RED. But it's the great thing working with this open core of Node-RED that people can just start playing with it and start realizing the value super quickly.
Amazing. Great. I'm looking forward to the workshop tomorrow. If anybody wants to ask further questions, feel free to find them at the FlowFuse booth or at the party, I hope, just now. Yeah. So I know we kept you already. And thanks for coming and join this session. We're excited to have a drink with you over and see you tomorrow as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.